can we describe a girl child? A famous Indian author, Amit Ray, in his description of a girl child said, "The smiling face of every little girl is the signature of God's presence." No wonder having a girl child is the desire of every home.
A Nigerian educator and life coach, Ifeanyi Enoch Onwa, said, "Girls are pearls, ladies are rubies, mothers are molders, and women are wonderful."
Great women are always celebrated, but to be great, the girl child needs to be encouraged to excel right from early age.
What I become as a woman begins with how I am raised. You're welcome on this episode of Time Out with the Ladies, and the topic for today is raising the girl child. My name is Tracy Azingbe, and co-anchoring with me today is Mrs. Faith Oyepeju. You're welcome.
Thank you, Tracy.
And on my left, we have Mrs. Aderonke Amorua. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And representing the wife of the General Overseer of the Foursquare Gospel Church in Nigeria, Reverend Mrs. B.C. Aboyeji, is Deaconess Abimbola Adibakin. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here again.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll go on a short break. We'll be right back.
Academic excellence is the demonstrated ability to perform, achieve, and excel in scholastic activities. Some students are exceptionally amazing. Join me on Breaking Limit as I profile first-class graduates from different institutions of learning.
Welcome back and thank you for joining us on today's episode of Time Out with the Ladies. We must say a very big thank you for your feedback on our previous episode, which is Raising the Boy Child. Today's episode is Raising the Girl Child. Sit back and enjoy. Alright, we'll be starting up the conversation with sharing our experiences as a girl in the family. I think I should go first. Go first. For someone like me, I would say it has been very interesting because then, yes, of course, you have your mom always telling you remember you're a girl, you meet your own in front, you will get married soon, you have some things you're not supposed to be doing and all of that, and then you sit back and you're like, God, is there something I'm not doing, or is there something I'm supposed to be doing, or will all of these things affect me when I get married and stuff like that? You just think about your life. Well, apart from that, I have I'm the third born. We're 4 girls and a boy, so most times I just hide behind my sisters and get to all the house chores. So that's what I do. Yes, I'm confessing. So let's hear from Mrs.
You don't do house chores.
Sometimes.
So I'm the last girl. So we have 4 girls and 2 boys. So you didn't do house chores. I did a lot of house chores. I did a lot. So my older sisters are much older than I am. So and when they just like, you go and do everything. So I worked. I worked, and then my parents felt I came when it looked like they were already retiring. So my older ones were the ones raising me. So I really worked, but then again I was daddy's girl. Yes, daddy spent time with me. All my exams he would take me. When I needed to go out he would take me. So till today I still feel like I'm daddy's girl really. So I enjoy daddy's company. Yeah.
Oh, right. Nice experiences. I'm the second girl. We are 4 boys and 4 girls.
Whoa.
I happen to be the second girl, and I have 2 boys above me. So my immediate was a boy, and the upper one a boy also. So I had that when I was very small. I have that ability to run around with them, to play ball with them until I was about 10 when I was to gain admission to secondary school, and that was when actually it dawned on me that there is something different between you. And talking about the work at home, each one of us has what we need to do. When you wake up in the morning, you're expected to sweep certain area, while the boys will do the cleaning of the car. And we had some aunties that were with us then, and we have our assigned work. But basically the boys are giving some masculine work But it's all fun, because by the time I started secondary school, I realized that look, you can no longer play ball around with the boy, and the self-awareness started coming in, and the housework now, now that you are 10, you are expected to cook in the kitchen, do the dishes, and help out. So it was fun all the way.
Oh, well, for me, growing up was a lot of fun. I'm number 4 or 5 children, the last girl. So I had 2 sisters before me. And the immediate senior sister was a very energetic, mommy's type of doing housework well. I had a younger brother, and all I remember growing up was always fighting with my brother. And they're always telling us that we don't want to do anything. In fact, my sister was so strong and so good with housework that when she was going to enter secondary school, my mother said, these 2 that are left, what to do with them. So I grew up doing housework, but there was no pressure on me because I was the last girl with a very so strong sisters before me. But my mom was a very assertive person. She was very honest woman, and she brought us up early to speak our mind and in honesty. So my mom would discipline you if you tell a lie, but if you tell the truth, she will actually reward you for telling the truth. So we all grew up learning to speak our mind. So I didn't have this complex of I'm a girl because we were raised to speak our mind. My dad was a very strict person, but the strictness didn't affect me because I was a bit gentle and quiet. I think my real self was shown to my sisters when I started my stubbornness, but my parents felt I was very gentle. And that helped me. Becoming a Christian just made it easy to continue to be an assertive person. So growing up was fun.
Wow, amazing experiences. Thank you all for sharing your experiences. Now let me ask, why is it that the girl child is most times treated differently from the boy child? I don't know what exactly is the reason. Why does this happen?
Okay, so I think that let me also glean from what she said, that at the initial stage she would run around with boys, she would play ball, but at like age 10 started realizing that, oh, I'm different. And so where does this difference come from? So I think by the time we are getting to the age of puberty, we start seeing the different changes. But at the early stage, apart from the fact that this is female and this is male, so when we are giving birth to, there seems not to be much difference in our brain structure. So I'm not sure. You can prove me wrong if because I'm female, my brain is round, and because I'm male, my brain is triangle. So I think that at that stage, at the early stage, we are all the same. However, I think that social construct and the way the society has also normalized some things. Say pink and lilac colors are for girls, then blue are for boys. So and the girls are treated differently and the boys are treated differently. But then again, I've also noticed that girls seem to be soft-hearted, and they also pay attention to people more than boys. Maybe is what I've noticed anyway. So I've seen girls that will look at you and they want to understand how you're feeling, but boys are on the aggressive side. So maybe I think that apart from the physiological differences, these are some of the things that you want to notice in girls. By the time they are getting to puberty, the story becomes different.
Interesting.
Okay, a girl, by the time a girl is getting to the age of teen, from 12, 13, the self-awareness will start to set in. Like I mentioned, immediately I enter secondary school, is like, oh, okay, this is quite different. And as God will have it, I went to girls only, and you know that, oh, you are different, you are not like the boys. The other thing you notice is that you will be conscious of yourself. You want to appear neat. You want to do things that will project you, that will make you to be seen, that okay, this really know what she's doing. So those things are more noticeable by the time you are setting into the age of teens. From 12, 13 forward, you become more conscious of what you carry. And the other thing is what normally happens to women will start to set in, and some may find it so difficult. The other thing is, from that teen's age, a girl child will begin to experience what is a normal thing that happens to women in terms of the menstrual cycle, and we need to actually be taught on how to take care of ourselves, how to be clean, how to appear not ruffled, because it can come with pains and discomfort. Those are some of the things that you will notice at that teen age. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Like the two speakers have mentioned, boys are active, aggressive, they're very daring. Girls are a bit more caring, cooperative, and more empathic growing up. But like you said, between 0 to 10, depending on who you hang around, you may not notice. But once you get to adolescence and the shape starts coming out, you get conscious of, you're developing on every side. You're developing in the front, you're developing in the back. Your shapes are coming out. People are telling you, pretty girl. Men are attracted to you. It doesn't even matter. Once you get to that point, you begin to feel aware that, oh, I'm pretty. Boys start saying hello. And so there's a level of consciousness and awareness that was not there before that starts being there. And the reaction to all those awarenesses, you now care about how you look, the kind of dresses you wear. So what they used to buy for you before that looked okay, you feel this is not good enough. You care about your hairstyle. Maybe all you were doing before was plaiting with thread. You now feel, no, I can't be doing that. That's not fashionable. And then you used to wear your long dresses that were made for you. You feel this is too big, this is too long. And in fact, it's interesting in secondary school that most girls, in fact, for most girls in secondary school, you notice that the uniforms that are made for them, they go and adjust it with the tailor. Yes. Down, everybody wears skip. So there's so much consciousness on being a female and the way you carry yourself around, and the attraction that brings for men to you just makes you know that finally I'm different, I'm pretty, I'm a girl. People pay attention to me anywhere I enter. If my hair is well made, if my makeup is well made, you just keep you attract a lot of attention. And I think that is where the difference comes. The attention your brother is not attracting at that age, a girl child begins to attract attention from younger men, older men, colleagues, and everybody. And that's the beginning of the difference.
Wow. So for a girl child that doesn't get all of this attention, is it okay to say that she starts feeling that something is wrong with her, or what exactly is this attention thing you're talking about now?
If a girl does not get attention, she actually sometimes feels something is wrong with her, and then she begins to pigeonhole those things on. Maybe I don't wear the nice clothes, maybe I don't make my hair well, maybe I'm too black, maybe I'm too tall, maybe I'm too skinny, and she looks for all the reasons why she's not getting attention, which is the beginning of an identity crisis.
Thank you very much, ma'am. All right, now we've discussed all of that, and we've identified areas in which female children are different from the male children. So what are some of the key areas parents need to focus on in bringing up a girl child?
Right, let me give that a shot. So every girl child needs to be cherished and loved. Every girl child needs education because it provides her a level playing field across gender. So when she is cared for, when she's cherished, she knows she's loved and she's educated. Education is even beyond the 4 walls of school. So when she has all of that, you are empowering her. You're making her have an identity. She can speak for herself. Like I said before, it gives her a level playing ground amongst gender and even her equals, whether male or female.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I like to take that to the area of the emotion. A girl child needs to be reassured constantly that she's valuable, she's priceless, and she can do things. She can excel in whatever she's determined to do. So a girl child needs to be mentored and shown the right way on how to achieve her goals. A girl child should be taught the way of seeing herself as not inferior to anybody. she's herself, she's created by God in God's image, and she can do all those things that she set her heart to do. Thank you.
I think it's important. One of the greatest needs. I think it's important. One of the greatest needs of a girl child is the assurance that she's somebody.
Yeah.
Because society, imagine a child that is born maybe at the third girl, and whether you like it or not, sometimes stories and histories around you begin to make you feel, oh, I wasn't really wanted. They wanted the boy and I came.
Right.
So that child starts from the very beginning with a feeling of, I'm not loved, I'm not wanted. Even if you are the firstborn and you are a girl, sometimes you can soon hear the story of your parents really wanted the boy first and you came. We think those things are just stories and jokes, but it begins to affect the girl child, and it leads her to a poor self-esteem, a poor self-concept, a loss of identity, and that begins to affect every other thing she do, the way she relates with everybody, the way she relates with the family. And so one of the things we need to teach a girl child very early is to focus on character and achievements, the fact that she's loved by God, the fact that even if the family thinks she's a mistake, God does not make a mistake. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. So with all that assurance and encouragement for the girl child, she will learn to focus on things that matter. Like I said before, a lot of girls grow up when they get to that adolescent age, focusing on I'm pretty, I'm this and that. But we should let girls focus on achievement and character and the love of God, so that no matter what happens, there's something they can control. Because you can't control the fact that you came to this world fair or dark, or your hair is, or you're tall, or you're short, or you're slim. You can manage it. But even that, with all the management, you may not be as slim as some who don't do anything and are slim. But if you start focusing on a girl child, like you said, on education, achievement, can do spirits, you can achieve what you want to achieve. Being a girl is not a limitation, because we are created differently and we have advantages. It will be very useful for us to help a girl child be the best that God wants us to be.
I know some parents have the mentality that if we allow the girl child or give them all of this push educationally and all of that, then they would miss out their roles when they get married. They become too focused on work, on career, on education. Then they miss out. And some parents have this mentality.
in the kitchen.
Yes, some parents have that mentality.
That mentality, the parents will lose for it. Because the world where we live in today, where even you raise your children so that they can be responsible and be able to take care of themselves, but flip it around. You know, there's this saying that this child that you are raising today, you are responsible for the child. If God spares your life and you get old, this child is going to be responsible for your life. And all of us are aware, if you have parents who are old, like at least I still have an aged father, we take all the decisions of my father's lives. The hospital is going to go to, the person that's going to stay with him, and so if he's going to flip around one day, and if when he flips around and you didn't take care of your girl child, who knows among all the children who's going to be very successful, who's going to have a very good career, who's going to be financially comfortable, who will have the wherewithal to take care of you in future. You don't can know. There are too many things you can't determine now. So I think for me, it's a loss on your part to think, if I take care of my girl child, and too many people are beginning to see that this girl child, when the chips are down and you are old, they have a way, they grace to balance everything. They are taking care of their parents, they are making money, they are helping their husband, they are taking care of their children. So everybody, I think, is holding the mentality. You better take care of your girl child. You never know who among them will be available when you are old, or who will even be in Nigeria to take care of you.
Exactly. Thank you very much, ma'am. So I had to get data to back up my point, because I want to be sure that this is not happening in my house only. I found out from a report by the United States Agency for International Development that girls between the ages of 5 to 14 spend more than 160 million hours more on household chores than any boy of the same age. Wow. So why? Are the household chores for the girls only, or why the girls have to do more work in the house than boys? And do you think that this will affect them psychologically?
Okay, so this is very interesting statistics. So I'm really surprised that this is still happening. So like our mentor mentioned that there is an increasing awareness that girls are no longer for sit at home. They're no longer sit at home babes. So that we are also increasingly becoming leaders in the boardroom. We're also becoming heads of industries. So for girls to now be the only ones doing household chores and boys are not doing it, I think it's a disservice to anybody, whether boy or girl, because a boy also needs to be equipped to be able to survive wherever he finds himself. So household chores should not only be for girls, it should be for both male and female. So yes, this statistics needs to change, really it needs to change. So that's my opinion on this. It's really surprising that we still have this at this age and time.
What do you think?
Okay, from my own hand, going forward, the awareness is coming up now, and I can see that very soon things will actually change, because boys, the focus now is on being able to empower themselves, being able to do things out of the box. Like for a girl child of these days, they know more than what was obtainable during our time. So you cannot say they are just to be doing the housework. And the fact still remain that you cannot be busy training the girl to do the housework while you leave the boy alone. So from the perspective that we are looking at, the housework should not be only for the girl. It should be something that should be shared between the boy and the girl at home. If we are looking at the system as Christian, we should be fair. We should not be partial in whatever we are doing, and we should be intentional, because we are actually raising girls that will be able to stand, that will have their self-esteem, that will be able to stand and be able to take care and do much more than being just a housewife. So it is the intentional aspect of it that is really key for parents, looking at the fact that whatever work that is to be done should be something that should be shared between the boys and the girls.
I think I'll focus on the psychological effects of making girls be the only ones doing the housework. Because when a girl is the only one doing the housework in the house, in a home where they don't emphasize that we all need to have our responsibilities and everybody needs to have all hands need to be on deck on making things get done, she may grow up with this feeling of life is not fair, men are not fair, and that's going to be a big problem for all of us in future by the time she gets married.
Right.
In as much as girls have a place, God created women to be multitaskers. But we need to communicate with our children about different things and not make them feel that they are not as good as the other person. In a typical home these days, where we don't even have the luxury of a lot of house help, we don't have the luxury of making the house 10 people because you want help, I think there is enough work in the house for everybody to do. In fact, these days, including daddy too, the work is a lot, and there's no help.
She's shaking tables.
And there's no help. So imagine if you're a young woman who just got married, you have a wife, then you have 2 kids, and there's no house help because you can't find, or the one you find is going to bring you more trouble. There's plate to wash, floor to sweep, clothes to wash, even if it's washing machine. There's so much to do.
Yes.
That even if everybody is doing the work, let's be honest,
Yes.
men who help their wives with 2 children, it's a lot of work for everybody.
Right.
Because you all get up in the morning, and because the man, it's not that he doesn't want to provide, but the way things are now, with earning well doesn't even help everybody.
Yeah.
So the woman too has to bring in something so that we can all have a good life. So when we wake up in the morning, we all have to do our beats. In the afternoon, evening, we come back, we do our beats. Somebody's checking on work. So everybody needs to just work. And we need to explain to our children growing up. Now, if the girl feels, why do I do much work? I think the right communication for a girl child should be, see, the way God created us as women, we can multitask. You can do quite a bit more than your brother, because I see women, a woman can be in the kitchen, she's washing clothes, she's checking what is happening in one meeting on on Zoom.
Yes.
And but honestly, let's be honest, men are not just I don't think they are wired like that. So if you notice, what is important is what do we communicate to our girls growing up, why they do more, and why are the boys not doing more. I think everybody has a role to play in the house. We should make sure we all have responsibilities. But if you see the girl child is doing more than the boy child, instead of saying you're a girl, I think the younger generation like good explanations. Explain to them that, see, the way God created you as a girl, you can multitask. These guys are focused on one thing. So arrange the housework such that your son can do his bit, your daughter can do her bit, and explain to her that, see, you are prepared for a future where the way you are created, you're going to be a mother, you're going to be pregnant at the same time, and because you've gone to school, you're going to build this career. I think for me, the communication is what we need for our young girls, so that they are not psychologically at war before they marry. Because I hear things like a girl gets married and the guy is saying, so are you not going to sweep the floor? And they say, well, so what happened to your own hand that you cannot sweep the floor? And from that little thing, marriages are beginning to scatter. But if you communicate to our girls that, see, you can do much more than these boys, and communicate to our boy that, please, you two have to assist in an area where you are good. And honestly, most men have areas where they are good. Some of them are good at washing clothes, some of them are good at ironing clothes. As long as we are all contributing our quota, I think our girls will feel bad. I'm worried if we don't communicate properly that these girls will just freak out, especially when career is looking much better than that for the guys.
Okay, I want to ask a question here. So I think that in churches these days, there's fear that women are becoming. So at times, to say all of this talk about girls is feminism talk and the women emancipation. That's why a lot of marriages are breaking up, because women are no longer submissive. That education has made us, we talk too much, we question things. So these are some conversations that we don't want to have in churches. And I hear shaking table, so I want you to clarify that to us, right? Because at times I feel like church girls, we are timid, we don't go out to own our own out there, because we have to remain at home and do house chores for our families. If you don't do house chores, there's wahala. They're calling marriage counselors on us and stuff. So please,
I remember a day when my daughter came with that conversation. I think they had a conversation in church about why boys are not doing something, why men don't do stuff, and why girls do stuff. And the girls, they were all teenagers, asked a lot of questions, and the answer they got was, be careful, you know we're Africans. And because we communicate a lot, she came home and said, mommy, that I need to explain to her. And what I said was that I don't really like this concept of we're Africans. I prefer the concept of we're Christians, and Christians who are transformed. So for me, if you have a wife and she's pregnant, she has a toddler, what happened to love your wife? Because love, what happened to love? What happened to kindness? What happened with gentleness, self-control? Because for me, kindness is not even about being in love. If somebody is dying under a weight of too much work, kindness shows I should assist. So the shaking of the table is simply because some men are honest. What I encourage is, they will say, I know how to do this, I don't know how to do this, but please pick up something and do. Because if you don't pick up anything and do, for a woman who is financially contributing, which is helping you, some will say, I don't collect the money from her, but say, but where is she bringing the money to? It's coming to your house. So as much as possible, I think the Bible says that the man is the head of the home, is the leader of the home. How do you lead people? You lead them by mentoring them, by showing you care for them. So I think if you really care for your wife as a Christian man, if you know she's under a lot of burden of survival of housework, raising kids, managing a career, you should care enough to help her. If women start getting that kind of care and help, it will work. I think some men are simply just lazy. And because you are lazy and you are not caring, you hide it under, I'm a man. Nobody should hide anything under a man or a woman. Just do what you're supposed to do according to the scriptures.
Right.
Thank you.
This is liberating.
All right. Thank you for your responses. Thank you very much, Ma. She really shook some tables here. All right, I believe our viewers are enjoying this conversation. And if you have questions and comments, do not forget to reach out to us on our social media platforms using the hashtag TOWTL. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Time Out with the Ladies. We've been discussing the topic, raising the girl child. We've talked about the difference between the boy child and the girl child, and we've also discussed key areas focusing on how to bring up a girl child. Now, before we continue, let us take a look at some of the feedback from our previous episodes. All right, here's a question here for our mentor in the studio, Mrs. Tony Makinde. Here's a question from her. My son has been keeping to himself lately. I have asked him severally if there was a problem, but he kept saying everything is fine. I'm confused because it's clear something is wrong with him, but he refuses to talk about it. So what should I do?
Now we are back to, the last episode, we are back to being a macho man.
Yeah.
Macho men don't say they have a problem or start telling mommy what is wrong with them. So for this question, what should the woman do? I think you should begin to, it depends on how you raised your relationship with the child growing up, which is why I keep encouraging those who have 1 to 10s to build that bond of let's be talking. But if you've not done that at that point, or if you've not done it, one thing is start showing that young man a lot of love. Don't insist on what is wrong with you. Show enough love to him, and showing love means show that you care. Simple things like if he's in school, in university, you can call him up and say, I'm just checking on you. How is school? Look for opportunities of showing love. Oh, have you eaten? And you just keep showing love, because when you keep showing love to a son who doesn't want to talk to you, somewhere along the line, as you keep showing love, like maybe if you're somebody that drives, he wants to go somewhere, say, okay, I'm going out, can I drop you? Go out of your way to be nice. In the midst of your showing love to him, somewhere along the line, he will begin to talk about that conversation. Now, prayerfully, begin to pray that God will give you an opportunity for a conversation to happen. I think that has happened quite a bit with my boys, because they are young adults now. And if I think something is wrong, if I say so, I can notice something is wrong. Doesn't mean there's no problem. But when I really know something is wrong, I give myself time to see when in a natural conversation we'll talk about it. So I'll start talking about normal things, like just generic things, like, oh, do you know what, like doing NSAS? Oh, I got all the information about NSAS from my son. So there are things boys like to talk about. You may need to engage in their conversation. They're watching ball, even though they don't like my company because I never know. But I keep asking questions. Maybe they are watching something that looks like, and please, at this point, madam, whoever asked this question, remove all your criticisms. There are a lot of things we don't like about our son. Maybe the way he makes his hair, the way he dresses. When a son has a problem and you know that there's a problem that he doesn't want to talk about, love more, criticize less. If you want to correct, go straight to the point of what you don't like. Don't abuse this person, abuse the issue. And then pray for an opportunity. One day we'll talk about it, and then you take advantage of that.
Thank you very much. Well said. Okay, we have another question from Mr. Wale Akindele. I have tried my best to manage my temper, but it seems it's getting the better part of me. So how can I get help?
I like the fact that a man is asking this question. That's so refreshing.
So, Mr. Akindele, if it's a Christian, first of all, you pray about it. That is the God part. The human part of it is that if you're married I'm sure you are displaying this anger to your wife and to your children. Leadership is vulnerability and humility. You may need to call your wife, who of course is the closest person, and say, you know what, I acknowledge. It's called self-awareness for leaders. If you are aware you have a problem, you can actually just solve your problem. So if you are aware you have anger problem, in humility, prayerfully call your wife and tell your wife, you know, this anger problem is a major issue. And who will know your problem more than your spouse? And tell her that I really, really want to change. So first of all, pray along with me. And anytime I start, let's have a code. It's called an accountability partner for changing behavior. And you engage her and say, anytime I start to shout in this house, or we go somewhere and I start, just let's have a code, something like, it's okay. Both of you will know that once I hear it's okay, I need to stop. Now, you're not going to get over it overnight, but and whoever your accountability partner is for behavioral change, when you say it's okay and you are not answering, say it's okay. Then when you get back outside the scene, you say, I said it's okay 3 times, you did not answer. We're not making progress. The next outing, or maybe you start shouting at the children and you say it's okay. And you do it once and it's okay. You say, you want today, it's okay, we need to go and celebrate. And behavior is very difficult to change. But with prayers and an accountability partner and your acceptance that I have a problem, I think it will change.
Thank you very much for your response. We believe that all these responses have answered your questions, and please feel free to send in more questions and your comments on our different social media platforms using the hashtag TOWTL. We'll go on a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Welcome back to Time Out with the Ladies. If you're just joining us, we've been discussing the topic, raising the girl child. A girl child needs protection and not violation, but that is not what we see today. According to a recent report by the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF, 1 in 4 girls in Nigeria had experienced sexual violence before the age of 18 years. This report shows the vulnerability of the girl child. So yes, the question here is, we have seen cases of many girls, young girls being violated by close family members. How can we prevent our girls, this menace, eating deep into our society?
Wow, that's a very deep one.
Yeah, it's very deep, and the stories are always, if you tell anybody, I'm going to kill you. And this young girl seems to swallow that, I'm going to kill you. So this young girl seems to swallow that, I'm going to kill you. So we believe we need a lot of mentoring and early education. Mentoring means you just have to be a friend of a girl child and build up her confidence and courage in you to the point where she believes that even if she tells you something, you're not going to tell everybody. So I believe the first step is for older women. We all need to sit down and educate ourselves on how to make sure that if you are told something, you keep it to yourself, and not, because sometimes as women, you know, we get surprised and we start talking. Hey, you this small girl, this is what has happened to you, you know. And everybody shuts down when they know their story, because the stories of molestation and abuse, they're not pleasant stories. And so somebody needs somebody who will keep it. So first of all, because if you pick few mentors are not able to do the job. So we first of all need to do what in my profession we call train the trainer. We need to train a lot of women on how to be able to educate the girl child from when they are very, very small. That's the first education. Another thing is that we need to learn how to read body language as older women. Because when a girl is violated, one of the signs is withdrawal. Because she feels bad and she begins to withdraw. So it's not the time to say what is wrong with you, and when she says nothing is wrong with you, you look the other way. It's to begin to talk about those. So we need to have those conversations frequently. And then lastly, as mentors, we need to actually let the girl child know how to protect herself. Sometimes in the name of fashion. things are worn that are a bit that portrays you the way you are not. So a lot of mentoring, a lot of education, a lot of, like for me, if a girl is wearing, sometimes you wear these things that one strap, no strap, I really don't go into, but I say this thing you are wearing, somebody can just drag it down the road and everything is exposed. So is that conversation, but we need to know how to present this matter as well. So first thing for me, in conclusion, we should first of all educate older women on how to relate with different generations.
Train them.
Yes, train them. And then when that is done, we need to begin to engage our girls much more from very tender ages. And so that even if anything is going wrong, they will respond to it. Imagine a situation where there is somebody abusing girls in a particular community and everybody's hiding it. But if we've taught them to talk to us and they trust us, that we'll handle it well, we'll respect their privacy, we will not mention their name, we'll deal with it very quickly and save more girls. So educate the older women, learn to talk to younger women, and let us help build their trust in us. So that when they tell us something is wrong, we'll deal with it. And please, let's avoid the olden day when a girl comes and says somebody abused me. How did you dress? What type of skirt did you wear?
Thank you, ma'am.
Those things are the real. We leave the issue, and we are facing, and nobody comes to talk to you if you keep doing like that.
Exactly. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So before we go, I discovered that as a girl child grows older, they are likely to be, have issues with either or both parents, either one or both parents, okay? Especially when she's trying to express her beauty or she's having body-related issues, okay? Or keeping tab with some friends, putting it right, in the right perspective when she becomes a teenager or youth. So the question here is, how can we manage the girl-child-parent relationship?
Let me give it a shot. The basic thing is for the parent to actually have a good relationship from the beginning. It's not something that can just start midway. The parent actually need to, like we've been discussing, that you need to actually show love to your girl child. You need to know her. You need to be available. And by the time the traces start to come up, definitely by the time a girl child is a teenager, she will really want to express herself because of the self-consciousness. She will really want to dress and do this and that, but it is in the place of the parent to actually lovingly have conversation with the child, to actually guide and be able to direct her right. Because it is not a time that you begin to shout on the child. It's not a time to begin to fight. Gone are the days when you will carry cane and say you want to beat or you want to do. But it is what? It is the way you handle and discuss with her that will make her to reason along with you. There is no point to strive with them because they are just trying to express themselves. So you allow them to express themselves and make sure that you are available for them and you catch it on time and you cancel. That is the area to look at.
Let's say well said is the communication, the friendliness, the let's have a discussion about this. But the angle I want to come in is that it's not every time the discussion will go well in that we agree. But what I want to counsel mothers with daughters and all of us as females, whether your daughter or your counselee, is let's be careful. Do not because you want to win a battle, lose the war. Because for me, I want to do this, I want to do this. There are little battles. I always say sometimes make up your mind on some issues to lose the battle, but win the war. What is the war? This girl has several decisions to take in life. Critical ones like career, critical ones like who to marry, critical counseling even when she marries and she's finding it difficult. So if it because of little battles, you lose the girl completely, it's going to be a problem. So from my own experience, there are some things my daughter wants to do that is not really flowing with me fully. And we have our discussions and we still do not agree on, and it's usually about these things about looks. like color of hair. For me,
Slay mama.
for me, even if you want to make hair, I think that is black is good enough.
Yeah, old school man.
Yes. But all this, if I one day, you put white, I say this word is interesting. Some of us have white, we are dying it. You are going to look for white when you don't have white. But one thing I have at the back of my mind is that I can lose the battle, but I must not win the war. Because there is a lot of critical life decision that children need to take. And sometimes, so some of the things we quarrel about, like the way you look, your hairstyle, makeup, those things, I consider them battles. There's a war of character, honesty, being a Christian girl, choice of a life partner, don't be unequally yoked, be a good mother, be a good wife. Those are the wars. So I sometimes tell myself I lose the battle so that I can win the war. So even if others are wondering, Mr. Adebake, how come you align this thing? In my mind, I say, I understand. I am losing the battle, but I cannot afford to lose the war of the ultimate girl child that I want.
All right, Ma, so tell us, how about father's love to your daughters? Is it just the mother that should care?
I'm happy we didn't miss that out. Fathers should show their daughters so much love, so that when somebody is dangling love in the name of wanting to just take advantage of her, she would have gotten enough love from where she's coming from. So I encourage daddies, take your daughters to lunch. Sometimes say, okay, let's go somewhere, daddy and daughter, so that when the boy says, I want to take you somewhere, it's like, what are you offering? And I encourage your daughters to ask daddy things about men and co, so that they get the right information from home before a boy takes advantage. Thank you for remembering to mention.
You're welcome, Ma. Thank you very much, Mrs. Adebake, for this wonderful conversation. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you. I've had a good time
Thank
with
you
you
so
too.
much.
Nice.
A big thank you to Mrs. Amarawa. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you. Thank
And
you,
of
Ma.
course, our co-anchor, Mrs. Faith. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's all we can discuss on today's episode of Time Out with the Ladies. Please join us next time on the station. And yes, if you have questions, if you have comments, do not forget to reach out to us on our various social media platforms using the hashtag TOWTL. And of course, if you need counseling, you can also do so via our different social media platforms. And of course, there will be someone out there to get answers across to you. Till I come your way next time, have a great week ahead.